she is doing again a lot to bring together two nations together and on various platforms, and her efforts are really appreciable. Sardar Kulbir Singh Ji is always our mentor in most of the activities we do, and we keep on disturbing him on many occasions, and I'm thankful that you have come despite your busy schedule. We have a lot of dignitaries in front also who will be joining us, and we will be listening to them also. So Garwal Ji, Manoranjan Ji, and DIG Pratap Singh Ji, and all others. I'm not taking all the names, but yes, I welcome you all from the core of heart. And we would really appreciate that if you could share your experiences a little later. Professor Madhuri Ji, TIC Political Science Department, and of course Avneet, Uzma and Kalpana, who have put things really very enriching. So geographically we might be apart, but still, we have deep cooperation and rich cultural ties, and I think Zena will agree to me that how culturally we are very close to each other. And now this diplomatic handshake, which was there earlier, it is now strategic partnership today. And so these ties between Korea and India deteriorated during the colonial era, of course, in the medieval period. But initially we had a very nice bond. And of course, India led the ceasefire between North Korea and South Korea. But again, these kind of things actually, India was in the forefront, and then later on also many things started. And so cultural ties is again, when one of the princes of India went there, and sir, that how beautifully that all what I understood from there is that all those king.
First, my congratulations to the board and principals of Mata Sundri College for initiating this interaction with a very dynamic country with a very old civilization, Korea. Korea and India are best friends, strategic partners. Principal of Kaur has very briefly and succinctly given a history from the princes of Ayodhya, Buddhist connection. All of that is there. But I see youngsters here, so we need to look at the future. Both India and Korea went through a colonial experience, a terrible colonial experience. Both our countries were partitioned. And 45 they became independent, 47 they became independent. And let's leave North Korea aside. But where is South Korea today and where is India today? Professor was just mentioning 40,000, their per capita income is $40,000 and we are struggling at 4,000 US. What did they do right and where did we slip? I think for our academics, for our researchers, for our policy makers, for our industrialists, for our young students, this is a point to ponder, reflect and learn lessons from. I was there in Melbourne 2008 to early 12, and then these IAS groups, before they became joint secretary, 17 years of service, they used to come there for 1 week kind of study tour. And also Lieutenant Colonel rank officers from National Defence College, they used to come for defense. I used to give the first address. And my thing was, okay, you study everything, but again critically see from policy making point of view, where did we go wrong or what did we not do right? I think the first and the foremost was education. India is still at 70% literacy, and 70% now as out of government I can say it's a fake figure. those people cannot write 5 sentences who are considered literate. Vocational education that was started in Korea in 1960s. By late 60s, they had attained practically 100% literacy, except some very old people. So human resource development was the key to South Korean success. Now we are talking about skill development and this, that and the other. But for 40, 50, 60 years, we have really the total disconnect between the academic world and the industry and the people where actually things are made, and that is what has made Korea famous. Then Princess had mentioned infrastructure. Now we are going to rural roads and infrastructure. What were we doing for such years? That rightly said Busan Seoul highway, that was the trigger. And when their president was trying to construct that, everybody said that you are investing so much money, you are a fool. Why? But he took loan, he took credit, he said no, that the road be constructed first, the highway, and economic development will follow. And it did happen. Now the topic is both culture and economic perspective.
Thank you, Professor Harpreet, and I must thank Professor Sabharwal who contacted me and invited me for this, and I was reminded of my earlier days when I was interacting with lots of Koreans. I did my PhD in University of New South Wales, Sydney in '93, and the place was flooded with Koreans. And you are right, Ambassador. In my own PhD class, not only economics, but as you know, in those universities, PhDs meet regularly. In my own PhD class, starting in '93, I think 40 to 50% Korean students were women, and very forward-looking, and very liberal, and very hardworking. And I totally agree with you. In that class, in the economics, where we had introductory classes and Koreans and Indians, we were 2 Indians, there were 4 Koreans, and you are right, they were very, very good. Today I am guilty, I am late, but I totally agree with you, they are extremely punctual. I also would like to mention, and because there are lots of students here, I found the Koreans are so hardworking that the debate of 90-hour work or a 40-hour work was irrelevant for them. In our PhD classroom, we PhD students had rooms for each other, but it was like we knew who's coming in, coming out. The Korean students would hardly go home, and they would be working round the clock. So university used to have library which used to work nearly 20 hours, and cafeterias which were working 24/7. And I was surprised in Sydney, our cafeterias, library, flooded with Korean students. So I totally agree with what you are saying, that Koreans are very hardworking. And we have a lot to learn from. And today I am going to speak on some aspects which will be with this theory. I have myself been part of the Reserve Bank of India delegation. I was wondering, culture is so common. The family ties, the family concept rubbed on them, and Korea became a great center of innovation and technology. You are right, Professor Harpreet. All of us are familiar with the Samsung telephone. It's a Korean product. And Hyundai cars. Technology and innovation started playing a very key role in the growth story of Korea. And it became visible. The Asian crisis, you know, Korea sailed through very smoothly. And the global financial crisis, another story, Korea was able to safely move through it. While Korea was growing at that rapid rate, from 1962 to 89 at a blazing rate of 8% unparalleled. China, of course, started growing from 78 onwards, and the growth that China attained was 10%, but that was 85 onwards. Korea had set an impressive track record. Then Korea played a very important role in the Korean way. Like our Bollywood movies are across the world, so are the Korean movies, the dramas. Their cultural way overtook and became the goodwill ambassador for Korea. If you look at the phases of the Korean economy, they lost it after the post-war. They took time to recover. And by the time they stabilized, 1960 onwards, that is when they launched the rapid industrialization phase. 8% growth happened during that phase. They also adopted the 5-year plans from 1962 onwards. We adopted them in 1951. They continued with the 5-year plans till 1996, 7th 5-year plan. And then they shifted to the market-based economy. That means they did not believe anymore in centralized planning. So under the market-based economy, again, their emphasis and thrust was on industrialization, technology and innovation, plus partnerships with countries around them. During this phase of growth, they were building their infrastructure, educational institutions, and human capital. Initial stages of the economic reforms, we were very, very unsure of everything. Actually, till 1993, we were not even able to talk about the exchange rate. It was in a state of flux. It's only by middle of 93, though reforms had started in 91, that we were able to come out with an exchange rate policy. But major reforms actually started sometimes around mid-90s. By that time, Korean economy had already moved into a very mature state. Koreans were sinking about 5% of their GDP in R&D. 5% of their GDP. And we are still nowhere there. So I think the mantra to learn from the Koreans is the investment in knowledge-based economy. From 96 onwards, then they started looking at business environment in their country, ensuring that investment yields results at the earliest. The second issue that they focused on, I've already stressed, is innovation coming from their huge expenditure on R&D. Fortunately, in the last few years, there's a convergence in the policies of the two countries. While India is talking of India's Act East policy, the Koreans have a new southern policy. So there is a convergence which is taking place there. And I would say, as already mentioned by the ambassador and in his introduction by Principal Harpreet, there is a need for people-to-people connection and cooperation. There is so much to learn from each other. The economic growth path, the Korean wave and our Bollywood wave. The government has already been thinking in terms of cooperation in areas of science and technology, outer space, something which is very important. In the University of Nalanda, there is already an arrangement on the way. And as mentioned, industry in India is taking lots of help, guidance, assistance and cooperation from Hyundai, Samsung, LG. To that extent, areas of cooperation are very clear. The key area, apart from the automobiles, electronics, digital infrastructure, apart from these three, which I see is most important for India, is the AI. Korea is leading in AI. And I think in India, we need AI in a much more effective manner. Effective in the sense, should we just go for AI in all sectors? Should we be selective given our young demographics?
How the Korea civilization is, Korean is so hardworking, and of course we can learn so many things from the Korean civilization. Thank you, sir. Now I would like to invite Dr. Zira Chung for her address. Thank you.
Thank you very much for inviting me, and I must appreciate that this India-South Korea strategic partnership is going to become a great game changer for the developments in, particularly in the Asian region.
Of course, is the Trump tariffs, which has thrown the world into some kind of a tailspin. I'm reminded of a centuries-old Chinese curse which says, "May you live in interesting times." I think all of us sitting here would agree that we are living in interesting times. Quickly run through some of the major recurring themes of closer India-China relationship in terms of culture parameters. We have historical times going long back, film and media, education, festival and celebrations like Diwali and the Hangul Day. In terms of economic cooperation, bilateral trade has grown rapidly. Investment by Korean companies like Samsung, LG, infrastructure, technology. This has given a wide deal of benefit in terms of economic growth, technological advancement, strategic partnership, and cultural understanding. South Korea has done very well, but perhaps it's not so adequately realized that one of the basic problems afflicting South Korea at the present is the aging issue. Like Japan, they are also afflicted. Given the kind of the demographic and constitution of the Korean economy, this is causing some kind of, and growing ahead, this could acquire even more serious dimensions. So growing partnership between India and Korea, South Korea, would help to surmount this kind of a difficulty. These are difficult times, momentum times, but there is humongous potential of closer cooperation between India and South Korea. I am reminded of the powerful words of Victor Hugo when he said almost 200 years ago, this is an idea whose time has come.
Now I would like to invite Dr. Nirja Samajdar, Associate Professor, JNU Center for Korean Studies. Professor Nirja.
I'd like to first thank Professor Harpreet Kaurji for giving us the opportunity to have this event together here. And as mentioned by our chair, S.P. Sharma ji, also that this is the best time for us to have collaboration between India and Korea, and what a best platform it has been today. I would say that since morning we have been listening about the economic strategies and more focus onto the financial aspect of India and Korea, I would like to take your attention towards the cultural aspect today. Giving a small background of where I come from is that where we deal with Korean language, literature and culture studies. So as I can see, there is a presence of enthusiastic youngsters who have been learning Korean language for quite some time. I would like to address them as well in Korean a little bit, if that's okay for you all. 안녕하세요. 잘 지냅니까? 제 이름은 니르자입니다. 여기 우리 크리시나 선생님하고 라훌 선생님 같이 계시고 우리 네이루 대학교의 박사과정 학생입니다. Yes, I believe that you all have been able to follow. Yes, again by our Indian researchers in collaboration with Korean researchers in Academy of Korean Studies, and they are trying to track this journey of Princess Ayodhya to Korea. And as rightly mentioned, she is considered to be the legend behind the Kimhae Kimseon, Kimhae Kimshi, which is in the southern part of Korea, and the Kim family of belonging to the Kimhae dynasty are often called to be in blood relation with us. So they call themselves as sisters and brothers of India here. To talk about more of Korean cultural similarities, again I would say that you must have read about a lot of researches again conducted about Korean culture being very similar to India in day-to-day activity and of course in particularly in family values, as both the countries are originally the Asian cultural community countries. Here, if we see that a lot of festivities and celebrations are similar in Korea and India. We have Thol and Higil ceremony in Korea, which is for the infant, and we have something known as Annaprashan.
My name is Ranjit Singh, Director with the All India Management Association, popularly known as IMA. And the student community will relate it better. IMA is conducting management aptitude test, which is the MAT examination, the oldest examination in the country for the entrance to PGDM and MBA programs offered by the Indian institutions. So, and IMA is the voice of leaders in India. It's a professional management body for about 68, 69 years we've been working and championing the cause of management profession in the country. And very important in this perspective because we are preparing and we are guiding the future managers. And all across last 60 odd years, we've been doing it, and I think this legacy is going to get continued. Very important point which was just mentioned by our fellow panelists in the earlier session. I mean, of course, we got the perspective of what as a country India has done, and obviously we learned what South Korea has done over the last couple of years. While we need to learn, India is a country which is a very forward-looking country. Whatever has happened in the past, we have to make a learning of that, take the best practices, learn from whatever we have done and do something which is going to be much better and going to make this country as a much bigger and a more kind of leadership oriented position what we are going to take.
Relationship is very important to understand, Vijay. So without taking so much time, I would like to proceed to the next session. I would like to invite Dr. Amit to take over this session further.
to the gathering that the whole session was very academically stimulating, and I hope the India-Korea bonds grow stronger. And one more information I want to give, that we are thankful to South Korea because the next International Political Science Conference is going to be held in Seoul, and that is from the 12th to the 15th of July at the Convention Center. Thank you South Korea for all your warmth. Thank you.
Present in the audience and all the dignitaries sharing the dais with me.
Youth, which college has created under the reign of DU. These programs are needed in today's time to connect the youth with the industry and with the culture. So I am very young to all the speakers present here, and special thanks they have invited me. As you recently found World Cultures Hub, so our main initiative under this is to connect the youth with different cultures present and to learn what all the culture actually depicts. We learn the language basically. Language is something that is a part of communication. That is not, we learn from it. We have to learn from cultures a lot. Their discipline. We have not, India has been dominated by Britishers for about 200 years. Still in India, as Professor Sheeta said, it's Indian stretchable time. Get ideas. You are doing MCA, you are doing BCA, you are doing MSc. How many of you are doing practicals at your home? Taking it, you are learning the practicals. Are you implementing it at some level, or you are trying? So these should be inculcated in our policies, and things can, the gap which we are all learning from the morning sessions, there is a gap. There exists a gap between this thing. So we should try and engage our youth. Youth is the future ambassadors of our culture. Without them, we are nothing. We have done our job. We are about 40s. We have done our job. We have done our part.
To everyone, no matter what part of the world region you engage with, US, Korea or Australia or Africa, the traditional diplomacy tracks would happen and we don't have much to contribute to it because they all happen in the corridors of power. What government has decided to procure Rafale, they will not come and ask Dr. Sheetal Sharma, is it fine or not? But if it is something which is related to cultural diplomacy, my student engagement, my connect, my experience, my sharing of, like Rahul shared, that how 8 Koibel are kings in that. Those experiences are so nuanced that they need to be highlighted, and this gathering is very interesting because this is not at all an academic gathering, it's a perfect mix of all. So जैसे Earth, planet Earth पे सारी gases हैं, उसी तरह यहाँ पे भी scholar, practitioner, industrialist, policy maker, everyone is there. And on that small note, I now invite Dr. Harmeet Singh.
I'll start with a message which our gurus have given. We have been in this college. I just want to know how many of you know this. This line, Manas ki jaat sab hai, ek hai pehchan wo. From the students. Raise of hands. Nobody. I guess this is also a gap. Guru Gobind Singh Ji said this. Whose wife is Mata Sundri, on whose name this college is there. Manas ki jaat sab hai, ek hai pehchan wo, given 500 years ago, said human has different kinds, but all of them is one. This message was given from this land. Right? And we identified the soul of the person first and the body and other instincts later on. That is our religion, that is our country, that is our nation, that is our culture, and that's why we have been, someone was thinking we never had bad relations with any country, we never invaded any country. I guess these are the learnings of our guru, right? Coming direct to the topic, who am I? I am Harmeet Singh, an IIT Delhi alum, serial entrepreneur, founded 5 companies. recently being Rabbit AI. Rabbit AI is a competitor to ChatGPT. Okay, in simple terms, we have been backed by Nvidia, Meta, Microsoft, headquartered in London, working across UK, India, and other parts of the country. Thanks to Dr. Diljit for inviting me here. I guess someone was asking him to bridge the gap. Probably, I guess I'm one of the industry people here, so he's already doing his part. So kudos to him, kudos to the college for having me here. I'll give a very divergent views. Thanks to South Korea, because my company is right now valued at $100 million. Above that, you can check on Google, and South Korea has a role to play because I work 2 major projects with South Korea. One in the defense and one with education. And we have developed AI solutions, for those companies. So it all started with, as youths, so I was always trying to see where we can generate opportunity and create global products. So I guess that's what we should do. And future is startups, future is AI, future is education. I'm a big proponent of AI and education.